Hello and welcome to this week's Piggyback Blog webinar. This webinar will be recorded, and if you have to leave during this class, all you have to do is keep an eye out for your emails. You'll be getting this sent to you so you can watch it at your leisure, after which it will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel so you can watch it there as well. Today we're going to be covering the plugin that is available within your Piggyback blog, and it's called the Gravity Form. And what this does is it allows for you to have forms on any page that you want inside of your website. So we're going to go ahead and get started. You know me, I'm Tracy. I'm the Success Coordinator here at Brandco, and I handle a lot of the support, the blogging, the webinars, and I do a lot of tutorial videos as well. So if you have any questions, I'm definitely a go-to person over here, and I will make sure that we have an answer for every question that you have. So I'm going to start off with asking you a question. Have you created a form through Gravity Forms yet? Just wanted yes or no answer. I'm just curious if you've utilized this plugin yet inside of your Piggyback blog. Now, I know that there's been a couple of people that I've walked through how to create them, and I've had a tutorial up on YouTube for around a year and a half on how to create a form. And it looks like a majority of the people have voted, and it is 88% no, 13% yes. All right, so we're going to be learning a lot in this webinar today. First off, what is Gravity Forms? Gravity Forms is a plugin that's available inside a Piggyback blog, and it's already there and available. If you're using this on a custom website, then you're usually going to have to pay in order to be able to access this plugin in order to be able to put it into your website. It's a really easy to use platform. It's got drag and drop placement options. It has a lot of the fields already made for you that you can just select and start using. It doesn't require any programming knowledge in order for you to be able to utilize it to its fullest capacity. It gives you a lot of different options as far as how to get your confirmations, your notifications, and its main purpose is to capture leads on your website or to gather information from people that are visiting your site. So why is Gravity Forms so important? Well, is lead capture a goal of your website? Now, a majority of people are going to say, yeah. I mean, if you want to have a website, your main goal is usually to get information from it or to find people that you can sell to and things like that. So lead capture is super important, and I see here that 100% of you that have responded to the poll, and that's 83% of you so far, have said yes. And I figured that would be the case. Lead capturing and grabbing information is very important inside of a website. So in order to do that, or to be able to get the right information that you need, you want to be able to create the form that you want to have in place. Lead generation is the generation of consumer interest or inquiry into products or services of a business. Essentially, there's stuff on your site or information that you have that I want, so I'm probably going to end up contacting you, and in order to do that, I'm going to need a contact form to do so. So, for the longest time, I've been giving contact forms through our e-agency websites, and if we want to be in more control of those, we know that e-agency will be going away. Now, if you plan on moving to Playster instead of Piggyback blogs, a lot of these things will change because Playster doesn't have access to Gravity Forms like Piggyback blog does. And I'm sure that that one statement will have multiple questions geared towards it coming up soon. But the big thing is that, if you're going to be on Piggyback blogs and you want to create your own your own pages and your own posts and things like that, creating your own forms is another part of that. Next week, we'll be covering a specific section that this is geared towards. Next week, we're going to cover landing pages. And landing pages are the culmination of an offer and a contact form. So that's why we're covering contact forms at length this week, and then next week we're going to put them to use in a landing page and learning all about that. So we're going to learn how to create a form right now. You have multiple form options. Whenever you start creating a form, you're going to have to select and set two specific things: your form name and your form description. Now, this will come up later when you're adding this form into a page or a post. It's going to say, do you want to display that name and that description? And you can say yay or nay. So you'll have a lot of different field options when you're creating a form as well. Some are standard, some are advanced, and there's a lot of post information and pricing that you can grab as well. So let's just go ahead and jump in and take a look at Gravity Forms inside of Piggyback Blog. Okay, so we all know the layout of Piggyback Blogs. We've all been there, we've all done it, we've all gotten in here. So in order to be able to utilize Gravity Forms, you go under Plugins and look for Gravity Forms and click Activate. Now, I turned mine off in order to show you how to do that. And it's quick and easy, and you're going to see the Forms section pop up in between media and pages. So it's a go-to area. It's really easy to use. If I click on it, I'm able to see the forms that I've created already, eventually. These are all the forms I've created. You're able to see the views that you've gotten, the number of entries that they've gotten, and your conversion rate. Essentially, views, the percentage of entries you've gotten based on the views. Kind of self-explanatory. But what we're going to talk about now is how to create a form. So in order to do that, you're able to click two separate locations. One would be under Forms, clicking New Form, or whenever you go to Forms, you can click Add New on that page. Kind of the same thing as when you're creating a page or a post. You have a lot of different options of how to get to the location to create them. So let's just click Add New. And like I said, there's going to be a pop-up, and that pop-up will ask, what your title and what your description of your form is going to be. So let's just go ahead and say the title of the form is going to be Contact Me, and the description can be, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Let me know how I can help in your blogging journey. And if I spell right, that would be awesome. Okay, and I'm going to click Create Form. So it's going to take me to the next area where I'm able to add in my form fields. There's a lot of stuff written here. You can select fields, you can add fields, you can edit fields, you can drag fields, you can save your form. So what I was meaning by standard, advanced, post, and pricing are these fields over here. So there's a lot of ones underneath standard, but my go-to is going to be advanced. So let's look at it first. So name, time, phone, date, address, website, email, file upload, CAPTCHA, and list are like right there, right off the bat. So this is really easy to, if you're just making a very generic contact form and you just want their name and their email address and their phone number, ta-da, all you have to do is click name, and it added it, email, and it added it, and a phone number, and it added it. Ta-da! Pretty simple. But I also want to know what they would like to talk about. So that would probably end up being like a paragraph text, which a difference between single line and paragraph is just that. Like a single line looks like this, while a paragraph looks like that. So any of these, you can click on them and see how they display. When you hover over them, you get a lot more options. If you click on them, they'll drop down and you can edit the field label or the description that would show up underneath, or you can delete it or you duplicate it. There's a lot of things you can do with each one. I want to continue using the paragraph text, and I want it, well, I didn't want to move it. See how this is drag and drop? A little funky whenever I'm doing it through here, though. There we go. So I'm going to click on here and say comments. And let me know how I can help. So you can see how the description will display below the area where people are able to input it. I can say that there's only allowed like 1,000 characters. I have no reason to go in there and put something like that there. Technically, I, they can talk as long as they want, honestly. Another option, let's say you're doing like a giveaway, okay, and you don't want anyone to be able to come in and use the same email address twice. You could come in here and click on email and say no duplicates. And that wouldn't let, like, if I came in here and put in tracy@branco.com in your giveaway, and then I came back tomorrow and tried to do the same thing, it would say, nope, there's already a Tracy at Branco listed. So that's one way to utilize that specific checkbox. The other most important one I would have to say is the required checkbox. This allows for people to know that something is required in order for them to be able to submit their form. So if we click submit on these, you'll see that it added in the little asterisk that signifies that something is required before you can continue on. Just to go over the rest of these standard fields that are here, there's a drop-down field which will display like this, and when you click on it, all the choices that you want to be underneath it will be there, and you can add, remove choices from within. Okay. Next would be checkboxes. Checkboxes are like what we were selecting whenever we clicked required or no duplicates. And you can put in your choices in here as well. Just so you know, there are bulk add options, so let's click on it. If you wanted to put specific states all in there, it'll go ahead and list them for you so you don't have to type them all out yourself. Isn't that awesome? Ages or genders or continents, marital statuses, and you can update any of these or do a custom one yourself. So you can go in here and add in some other ones and save them in the place of those other options. Radio buttons and checkboxes are very much the same, or just differently shaped. And multi-select will allow for someone to select more than one option. So if I wanted to put, all the things that you're interested in, you could do it that way. A section break or a page break are two totally different things. A page break will allow for you to have a form that continues on through multiple pages. So if you have like a lot of stuff that you're asking for from a single person, it's nice to break them into pages so that it's not overwhelming how much information you're asking for from these people. To utilize a page break, you just simply put it in place, and you'll see that the break is ending here. So if you wanted to make sure that this section was literally just on the second page, you would drag it into that area. A section break will cause a break that in between the areas, and it is a little less cumbersome than pages. So you can click on it and make some edits inside of it, and give it section headers if you wanted in between. So if I wanted to put section, oh, I'm writing the same thing that was already there, contact information, and put it there, then we could. Let's go ahead and delete this, and let's get rid of our page break. Whenever you're doing page breaks, it's really kind of cool because let's say you're on the third page out of all 4 pages, it's going to have a progress bar at the top of the page that will say, you're 75% done. So it kind of gives people a heads up like, hey, you're not going to be doing this form forever. All right, so let me get rid of some of these choices to get back to like what we were actually trying to accomplish, which is a simple contact form. And let me just do a quick visit inside of post fields. This will grab the title, the body, the excerpt, the category, the image, or the custom field inside of a specific post. I rarely ever use this myself. So, if you want to, you can play along with it, but all the general information that most people need is going to be found inside of the standard and advanced. If you are trying to sell things or quantities inside of here, pricing fields will help you out with that as well too. So let's go ahead and click Update Form, and that is literally how you create a form. Okay? So after that, the next section would be to cover form confirmations. Now, confirmations, they're in there already, and there are default options already clicked, and like you don't have to mess with them if you don't want to. But a confirmation is essentially what happens after that person clicks submit. So there's a lot of options and ways to think through how you want this to happen. If you're just wanting to, you can show just a message that will replace the form on that same page. You can send them to a thank you page that you've created, or you can redirect them to a specific location on your website. You have full control over what happens after they click submit. So in our same form, we can go under and check our confirmations here, where it says form settings, confirmations. So our default confirmation is there, and let's go in and see what it does. It says the type is text, so it's essentially just going to show a message on that same page. So let's edit it and see what our other options are. See, right now, if someone comes to our form and clicks submit, what's going to happen is it's just going to take away the form and then show, thanks for contacting us. We will get in touch with you shortly. Not bad. I mean, if that's simply all you wanted to happen, that's cool. When it comes to pages, that'll be covered in depth more next week. But the reason why you would want to send this to a specific page is if, let's say, this is a landing page with this contact form, and you're having them sign up to receive like an ebook or your first-time home buyer checklist or something like that. Some really cool like PDF that you've made that you want to offer, but you want people to give you some information before you give it. This is where you would do it. You would set, hey, when someone clicks submit, it's going to go to this page. And the redirect will go to a specific URL. And I've never seen a reason to use this. I mean, it's either going to be text or page if you ask me. So this is how you set these kind of confirmations. So if we save it and we go back, you can add different confirmations, but I mean, one, it's going to check to see what's going on. You can add in specific conditional logic. I know it sounds really rough when you say conditional logic, but what it's doing is it's checking to see if any of this matches, then this is the confirmation that someone's going to get. So if the comment contains buying, then you can say, I'm looking forward to helping you purchase your home. We'll be in touch shortly. So this would allow for you to kind of specialize your message that you're going to display based on what someone has sent you. So there's a lot of conditional logic you can put in here to make your website seem very, very intuitive. So you can play around with this as much as you want. You can have as many confirmations as you need per form even. Up next, after a confirmation happens, whenever someone clicks submit on your form, there's going to be something called a notification. So aside from a confirmation, there's notifications. And this happens when everything's happened on the website, they've got their confirmation page or message, then an email is going to be sent to wherever you decide that you want it to be sent so you can get the information. So this is like your notification letting you know that something's happened on your website. It lets you know a lot of different information, and you have full control over how those websites give that information to you or how those notifications happen. Now, you can notify anybody that you want to about this. So I've had a couple of people ask me, like, if they could add in a mortgage page that has all the mortgage people that they work with on it, and I suggested having like a form that they could fill out that would send you their information as well as copy in the mortgage person so that they would get an email saying, uh, blank realtor has sent you a lead, and then it would give you all the information underneath it. So it'd be a really great way to take a little bit more work off of your plate. So let's take a look at form notifications. So inside that same place where we were, we're going to click on notifications now. So there's a default one that's in here, just like how confirmations had a default option as well. And we can go in and click it and take a look at all the options that are inside there. Now you can have this sent to your admin email, and if you're curious as to what admin email is in place inside your piggyback blog, if you click on settings general, you'll see which email is there, and you can even come in here and put in a default email like tracy@brandco.com, and emails will come to that location whenever a form has been submitted. You can even come in here and change how the subject looks or how the fields, well, I just put all fields most of the time. You can also change, like, if you get this, who you would want to respond to when that email came to you. So if you wanted to respond to, like, the email address that we got on the form, you can click on the little drop down here and click email. And what it's going to do is it's going to allow us to automatically, see that the email was from them. And we can go in here and have that as the reply email too. If we have someone that we're working with that we want to make sure it knows that we're getting this information, we could BCC them. That's a blind copy, which means that they wouldn't be included in the information that's sent to us. You could change this. Right now I would say new submission from contact us or contact me. Or you could change that and make it say first name has filled out your form, and then we could put in the form name. Where is it? Form title. You could be as descriptive as that, especially if you have like multiple contact forms inside your website. You may want to have some more determiners listed here. Recently, a client brought up that they wanted the person that fills out the form to just get an automatic email, and I was like, that's brilliant. I didn't even think about it. So you can go in here and click add new. So let's say Joe Schmo has filled out our form, and this is I'm gonna say auto reply, and we're gonna send the email to the email address in the form, and we're gonna say it's from Tracy at Brandco, and it's gonna come from my email address, and she can reply to my email address as well. Let's just say Tracy at brandco.com. And we can say, thanks for filling out my form. And then you could write a really nice message if you wanted to here, and that would be automatically sent to them whenever they fill out the form, so it looks like you're like on point when it comes to managing your website and staying up with any form submissions that you have. So you can turn these on and off inside of here. Yeah, it's going to say message. Okay, save notification. Okay, so you can turn these on and off if you decide that you want them or don't want them to be working. You can delete them. So you have a lot of different options here as far as confirmation and notification. And of course, you want to know whenever somebody fills out the form, and you want them to know that they've actually completed the form, which is why those things are in place. So now that we've created a form, we want to be able to add that form to a page or a post inside of our website. And doing that is probably the easiest part of the entire process. So what's the reason to add this to a page or a form or a post? To grab their information, to share an offer, something like landing pages like I was mentioning that we're going to be covering next week, to have them enter into a giveaway that you may draw, so they can get more information on a specific topic that you're covering inside of a blog post or a blog page, or your essential standard contact form to try to get a hold of someone. So let's take another quick look inside of here and go add this to a post. So I'm going to click on Posts and then click Add New. And in order to put in a form, it's probably the simplest thing. It says Add Form above our toolbar. You click it. You can see here that it has an option for all of our forms that we've created. And this is where I was saying that it would come up and ask you if you want to utilize that form title or that form description. So if I put it in, it's going to look like this here. I can write above it, blah, 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 and I can write below it. This is the end of the post. And let me make this not show up in my face and go ahead and publish it. So we want to go and view the post. There's no title to it, so it's probably going to be a little wonky. This is our section divider we put in place. We're asking for the first name, last name, the phone number, the email, and some comments. You can see our description here for the comments section. So if I fill this out, Tracy Adams, tracy@brandco.com, and go to my, apparently I can't read, 407-999-0009. tracy@brandco.com, testing my form. And I click submit. It should give me specifically my, what am I trying to say? It should give me the inline confirmation that we said. So I wrote content above and below the form. That's still there. So be cognizant of that and where that's going to show. And this is where it's showing me, thanks for contacting us. We'll be in touch with you shortly, which we set as a default inside of the blog post. So if I, in another browser, take a look into my email, I should have a form in there that will say, I'm going to try and pull it up so everyone can see it. I should have gotten an automatic response to my email saying that I had filled out that form. Yep, I got multiple. So here's the first one. It says, Tracy has filled out your form, contact me. And then it has the information that was filled out in the form attached in the email. The other one is me as the person filling out the form, just saying thanks. And then the title says, thanks for filling out my form. So that's what set into place whenever I made that notification and those confirmations. So you can see all of those in action. So it's as simple as that in order to add in a contact form to a page or a post. Obviously, it's the same way inside of a page as it is in a post because they're very, very, very similar. So let's go back over here. And inside of your website, you can also add these forms to your sidebar. Now, a sidebar is a little bit different than adding it to a blog post or page because this will carry on and be viewable through your entire website. However, if you're using the Jetpack visibility option, then you have the option to control which pages or posts or categories or anything like that that this specific form will show up on. If you're going to put it in the sidebar, I do suggest that it be quite short and succinct so that it's not crazy long over to the side. And you should have multiple options as far as what pages you put them on. So otherwise, just make it a standard contact form. So let me just show you how to put a contact form into a blog post and that will pretty much wrap up a large majority of utilizing the Gravity Forms plugin. So in order to maintain the information that you put into your widgets area for your sidebar, it's going to be under Appearance, Widgets. Now, sometimes this whole area is kind of not accessible, and when that's the case, it's probably because you don't have the WolfNet WordPress plugin. You can give me a holler if that's the case, and I can try to help you out on my side of things for it. So the option we're going to need is Form, and it says it underneath Gravity Forms widget. So if we click on it, we're going to say we're going to add it to the sidebar, and we can add a title above it, and we can pick out which form displays. We can decide if we want to use the description or the title, and click Save. So I'm going to move this up to the top so it's quick and easy for us to see whenever we reload my website. So let's go back to see it, and you can see it over here. If you have like the label for the widget as well as your form title showing, it's going to be kind of stacked with headers. So it's going to look a little strange. But this is how a form looks inside of your sidebar. So you definitely want it to be short and to the point. All right, and the last thing I have to go over with the WordPress plugin called Gravity Forms is the additional features in it. And the big thing with it is entries. So I have to ask a question. Do you utilize a database of contacts for something? For me, I utilize like MailChimp, and Branco utilizes HubSpot, where we're able to see what options there are. So this gives us a really important look into why we want to have access to the entries that we have, aside from them just being sent to our email. Now, I do know that a couple of people that utilize Top Producer have something called Bob Street or something like that, where it will look into your emails and add them to your database automatically. So with this, there are a lot of options so that you can go in and manipulate these entries, take a look at them, export them, and all that other kind of stuff, so that you can add them to any of the places that you utilize your database, like your MailChimp or your eEdge or anything like that. You're able to go in and star them, remove stars, resend your notifications in case someone says they didn't get them, but you know it got sent and you just want to follow up and do it again. So let's take a look at the entries area inside of this form plugin, and that will start wrapping us up. So if you have any additional questions, go ahead and start sending them now, and we'll hit them right after we're done covering this area. So if you click on Forms, you're going to see an area called Entries. Now, you can switch between the forms that you're seeing the entries from here, up here in the top, and that's the same for any of the sections that you're in, the settings, the confirmations, or the notifications. You can change the form that you're looking at over here in the top. So I'm the only person that's filled out the form. That's fine. You can click on it and go in and view all the information that was given. You can see what date, what time, what IP address this came from, all that other tons of information that you may or may not want. You can add in notes for each of these people as well. So you can utilize this as a place to play with these entries. However, let's say that you really want a list of all these entries and to be able to get them in an Excel format and then, import them into, your database. To do that, you would click on Import Export over here under Forms, and you'll see the first option says Export Entries. So you're able to select which form you're going to export entries from. So I'm going to grab Contact Me, and it's going to give me all the options. So I really just want their first name, last name, phone, email, and whatever comments they sent, or I may not even want the comments. And in the date rate the date range is optional. So if you don't want to do that, don't worry about it. Or maybe you can do entry date so you can know when that person gave you their information in case they ask. And then you click to download the export file. And it comes in an CSV file. And usually places like MailChimp will take that CSV file and ask you what each field is and things like that so that it can properly put it into its own database. So that's how you would take your entries with you the easiest way possible. Okay, so at that point, we're ready for some questions. Okay, so Allison sent some questions, and she said we use eEdge so we can write subscribe to our blog using a form, and we can see who wants to subscribe. Sure, there's ways to do that. You can utilize a Gravity form in order to do the subscription-based kind of service, but you can also use a thing inside of Jetpack that will automatically send the message for you as well whenever you add a new post. Now, if you're going to send them more of an RSS feed, like something through MailChimp, I keep referring to MailChimp because I use it and I understand more about how it works, but I'm sure eEdge works very similarly. To the point where if you want to send a large email on a regular basis and you want it to go to those people, then this is how you would do it. Thank you for the question, Allison. Do we have any more questions? Okay, so with that, that's going to be the end of today's webinar. And remember that next week we're going to be covering how to create landing pages and why we would want to. So I would say thanks for attending. And if you need to contact me, my email address is tracy@brandco.com. You can call me at 407-999-0009 extension 115. If you would like to connect about any of the questions that you have or how to walk through how to create anything on your site that's specific to your needs, you can schedule an appointment with me through calendly.com/bco_Tracy. I will be sending an email within the next couple of hours with the recorded version of this webinar so you can watch it or share it with anyone in your office that needs this information as well. So happy blogging, and I'll see you again next week.